Ask Brad to come back over here. Brad Wolf. Put those in. They got bigger. That's really good.
Wow.
Just hit the top button. I'll do it again.
Yeah, that worked.
There we go.
Still gonna pull back in the motion. You better hope Chuck's dancing in his seat tonight.
He's not here tonight.
Oh no, is he in Florida already?
No, Chuck had surgery this morning,
Oh,
and I can say it since we're not online.
No, not yet. Well,
And he had a kidney taken out,
oh.
and they just took it out. They said there was no problems, and they're sending it to the lab. He was still in recovery at about 3:45, so we must have.
Sorry to hear that, didn't know. Hope he's still around.
Yeah, you mentioned he was having some.
I'll go get a fan with a streamer on it. So it'll keep blowing. Like that in front of it. Yeah. Start.
let me see what it's recording, but
My daughter called in the middle and go, "You're not on it."
I apologize, but you waved at me today, and it wasn't until it was one of those like.
we're in a love-hate
slow
relationship.
process.
I don't know what.
I was so close to
I know.
I was on my window. I thought, well, I should fix it.
And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that was Rick, and by that time we went down.
She's crossing the street and she stopped at the yellow light. I'm sitting right here looking right at her. I know.
My car.
Yeah.
I've done recording.
I've done that to a few of you. I know I've done it to you, Rick. I've done it to a few of you in this room.
I don't know. I don't know. Are we recording or we pause? I don't know. I know we're live on live streaming.
Well, it says end down at the bottom. Does that mean it's
No.
recording? So you.
No, that's at the end of the night when I click, close everything. I don't know if it's recording. It says recording. Okay, it says recording, so I guess we're ready.
All right, we might as well get started. The finance meeting for October 9th. We'll do a call of order. Chuck Keller is excused. I'm here, Brandon Perry.
Present.
Also in attendance, we've got our Darla Reedy, we've got Brian Holworth, the village administrator, Mike Tyson, chief of police, we've got Brian Bidler, our fiscal officer, council person, Ms. Tammy Lentz, Rick Foreman, and Deb Shoffman. We'll do approval of the minutes for prior meetings, September 11th.
Yes, I would read the minutes and move to accept the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Fine.
So we got a motion properly made, and seconded to accept the minutes from prior meeting. Any visitors that want to speak for finance? Look like it.
Probably back there.
Goals for 2023, spending within the appropriations for 2023. Looks like we're doing that pretty well. Old business, doesn't look like we have any old business. New business is a review of the monthly financials. Start, I guess, bank reconciliation.
Okay, so Kelly's not here. Okay. Last month, we ended up with a bank and overall balance of $2,676,777.05. A couple adjustments there at the end of the month. The automatic transfer between the accounts, between the sweep account and the general checking account. Payments not UAN. That was a new one. That was a customer disputing their credit card charge on a water utility bill. So we're in the process of disputing that, and I don't know how long that's going to take. So that was a new one on me, but I called the person. They said, oh, they weren't supposed to do that. And they had some fraudulent activity, but the bank must have took any transaction between this time frame, and just returned everything. So trying to get that one back. So that's pretty much it for the reconciliation. The outstanding checks of roughly $15,879. Total receipts last month was 301,439.71. Got a couple outstanding receipts, credit cards for for utility bills. Pretty much it for the reconciliation. So, moving on to the check register, last month we wrote $363,572 worth of checks last month. Of course, the big one, $119,000, was for the purchase of the property on Elmwood Street. I don't see, on page 4 there, that was our first installment to VK Layer for the Granville Street project. That was just our share of the cost. Still waiting on word when OPWC is recording or paying their share of the cost. So still waiting on that. But it's been submitted for payment though. I don't see anything out of the ordinary in the check register unless you guys have any questions on anything. Okay. Moving on to the metrics finance report. Star Ohio last month was $2,458.74. Rita last month was $96,017. Elections so far are ahead. I think part of that is the program that I signed us up for, recouping bank taxes. We should be around 75%. So over all the major funds that we provide you with is below the 75% for this time of year. Water is going to change real quick as soon as we start getting some activity with the Gordon, which we just started doing it in Granville Street. And revenue status, we are where we should be this time of year.
Looks good to me.
Moving on to the appropriations then, has again, a general funds at 67% for the end of September, below 75%. There's the individual lines for the general fund, all within 75% except one, a couple I should say. Streets at 51%, water funds at 37%. But as you can see, I've already encumbered $568,000 there. So for the Granville project. Sewer operating funds at roughly 49%, and pool is at 47%. So pool season is over. Anything we're paying now is electric and telephone practically the rest of the year on that. And we're at 35% storm. Overall, all the funds were at 45%. So we're looking good right now. That's all I have for the reports. If there's any questions.
Motion to approve the financial reports.
I move to approve the financial reports as written.
Second that, all in favor, say aye. Motion made and seconded. Reports approved. And the next thing is the budget draft.
Yeah, this is just yeah, go ahead.
I looked at it.
Well, this is still a rough draft. I mean, it's not the final product. I guess always try to have a ordinance ready, but it'll be next month. this is just a rough. I still got some work to do. Like instance, on the revenue side, you see the yellow. If you see a highlight, that's either work still needs to be tweaked, or those numbers are finalized. So, like for instance, so right now the general fund, I've highlighted municipal income tax, and the reason why I'm highlighting that's because we're exceeding projections. So maybe I might need to rethink that amount next year. So I'm still monitoring income tax, and then when I get closer to November, I'll have a better feel. Those are the numbers I've highlighted. I got more information for Rick tonight during council, but I went ahead and made a few changes to the, I need to make changes. So the sewer improvement fund, of course, that may change that projection because based on the ordinance. So, but I got more information about that. I'll discuss it with council. Some of going on to page 5 of the budget so far. Like I said, the yellow, still a work in progress or finalized. I mean, you've looked at it. Is there any questions? I guess I'm opening the floor for any questions on any of this stuff. I guess, do you want me to continue on to finalize this thing before the end of the year? Or you want me to do temporaries, to get us going? There's some, I'm open for suggestions.
We talked about the pay raises and all that sort of stuff.
That's all figured in already.
And if we get more coming in through tax revenue, that's actually a good thing for the budget.
Right.
So we've got no freedom in different categories. So
yeah, the raises, they're factored in. Right now, factored in is medical insurance. I've got a preliminary cost estimate on that. We're in the process of the employees are supposed to be filling out Form Fire and Easy apps, with two different insurance companies. Hopefully get done by the end of this week, because the first renewal package that I've received so far from the current company is a 15% increase. So in insurance rates, and I've already factored those in already. So that's why it's very imperative that everyone. I sent out an email last week or 2 weeks ago to fill out Form Fire to have it done by last Friday. Sent out Easy apps last week with another carrier, so they can shop around. The employees need to have that done by this Friday for the second, regardless of whether you're going to have the insurance or not. All the employees need to fill it out. If you're not, there's probably a checkoff box that I'm going to waive it, and that's all they need to know. But everyone needs to do that. Street fund. You see, if you look on page 8 right now, the general fund's in the whole 231,000. What does that mean? What that mean is our appropriations exceed our revenues coming in for next year. It all hinges upon carryover fund balances. That's a key factor, and what that means basically there is you got your overall cash balance. If you have any outstanding purchase orders at the end of the year, they charge against the cash balance available on hand. So those numbers aren't in there yet because we're only in October. But as you can see, in all these funds, they're all going to have deficits, except for a couple of them, because I already know what those numbers are.
And with the appropriations, we're really only at 47% overall.
Right. For the most part, we budget when we budget, yeah, you should not budget more than what your money's coming in, but I know stuff happens, but we got a good team here. They monitor their budgets. They come in under, so if POs are closed, don't affect us as much right now.
Well, that's good. Looks like everything's. Yeah. Okay.
There's other funds that I'm not sure of yet. The CARES Act money. I don't know what the carryover is going to be yet, so I can't put numbers out there for the Washington Street project. Well, whatever the carryover is, we're going to budget the whole amount. We have to have it spent by next year. So we're funding our share of the costs for the Washington Street with our CARES money. If there's anything left over, we'll have to do something to get to spend that money between now and next year, or at least encumber it. We'll still have 2 years to pay on it after that, but you have to at least have purchase orders in place by the end of next year. Public Works Commission, don't know what's going on with that yet because we haven't submitted an application. Once I get those numbers, I'll plug those numbers in. Water fund, sewer fund, good start on this stuff. There's a couple, I need to make a couple changes based on wishes from the team. I've got those numbers in. I don't know what's going on with the meter upgrade. We got 2 representatives coming here tonight to battle it out on which way to go. So
Projects with the water distribution plant, there's some fixes that need done.
yeah, they've been budgeted. As you can see on page 12, the well cleaning. I've been told I can take the washing of the water tower off the budget because that's part of our contract. They'll be doing that next spring, so that's gonna free up money there. I got ground storage tank washout. Is that what that means? I think that's what Scott requested.
Yeah.
Cleaning. So I got those. The water tower payment next year is in there. We still got three payments left on that. Sewer fund. South Central, I budgeted the same, but I'm thinking based on what we've been paying this year, I might be able to reduce that number. We'll see. We'll see at the end of October. Swimming pool's pretty much done. You had a question? Or
No, I just was gonna look at that.
with that?
I just wanted to see how everything turned out, because we had mentioned that last meeting, you said you were kind of finishing up numbers.
Oh, yeah, I need to tabulate some finalized numbers on that. On the pool. I don't have anything scheduled right now to come out of the water or sewer improvement funds. The debt service funds are pretty much cut and dry. I pretty much know what those numbers are going to be. No, I don't have anything in storm sewer right now. I did budget 25,000 on page. My pages are out of whack. I did budget for the windows. They're in there somewhere. And 3.
What did that end up costing? Yeah, that would be the cemetery.
That's 10,000, and I've already encumbered those monies.
Right, no, but I'm just thinking of things that we've discussed in the past.
Yeah, windows budgeted 25.5. I think this year we budgeted 25 last year. I came in at 25.4. Okay, so I reallocated $400 from one of the lines within the council's line items there to cover that. Yeah, wages, yes, all the wages have been accounted for. The pay raise to the mayor, the two council members coming on board next year. Because that ordinance to suspend the raises for the elected officials and ends next year, or this year, sorry. It goes back into effect next year.
The Muslim window, we did get a $2,500 grant on that.
So that's what the budget looks like so far. I don't know if you had any questions.
Have any questions about the budget, Diane?
Should I proceed on or should I start working on temporary? I guess that's my question. I guess we'll come across that next month, I guess, when I'll have Jeff prepare legislation for the first meeting in November.
Because we're gonna enact that ordinance about,
3 readings will be the first meeting in December. Or council can tell me now and I can start working on at least basically what that, if they want to put it off. Technically, you don't have to pass any kind of appropriation until April 1st or March 31st, I should say. Permanent appropriation, but to keep us going, I have to have at least temporary appropriations in place.
didn't we just put in a temporary one at the beginning of this year? And
No, we didn't this year. The last couple of years, we have not. We had a budget in place. But the 3 or 4 years before that, it was temporary basis while we hammered out the rest of it. But last couple of years, we had one in place. But that's going to be up to council. Because I know there's elections coming up and so forth. So. That's all I have on the draft budget.
Anybody have anything for finance? Our next meeting will be 13th November at 6 p.m. here. Motion to adjourn. I move to adjourn. A second. Favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Yeah, it looks like this. Well, if there's 3 together, turn them on, we're not gonna shut off. Okay. Ever, the way it is. So before we leave, I'll switch it back to motion.
Just leave that cover off, because you know what I did when they changed those? I kept the old switches.
Oh,
I just put the
I
new
mean,
switch
I
back.
adjusted the time and delay up on
Okay.
it, but it was still shutting off. So I thought I had it adjusted to stay on a lot longer.
Yeah.
But now I've just flipped the dip switch that just says on. So it's not gonna shut off. I don't think anyone will leave. Okay, we ready to move on to rules?
Yes,
Okay.
we have a public hearing at 6:45.
Okay. Meeting to order. Roll call?
Okay, Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Present.
Litz.
Present.
Okay.
Okay, also in attendance, Mayor Darla Rainey, VA Brian Holbrook, Fiscal Officer Brian Bidler, Councilmember Ray Cosgray, and Randy Creer. And Chief of Police Mike Jensen. Sorry. So can I get approval for the minutes of the July 10th meeting?
No, July was approved last month.
Okay, so this.
August is
I'm
meeting.
looking at the minutes and I'm reading off the minutes instead of the agenda. Sorry. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I moved to the minutes of August.
And I second.
Okay, so let's,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
yes or no?
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner? Okay.
For some reason I can't get my rules agenda to open. That's exactly what
Okay, the 9/11 minutes.
yes, can I get a motion for approval on the September 11th school?
I will move to approve the September 11th minutes as written.
For second? Roll call.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Litz.
Please. I don't know why it's doing PDF update all of a sudden, but it's not opening anything until it does PDF update. Thank you. Okay, any visitors? No, I'm from council. So we're on the goals. We tabled the finalized version of VA description, job description. Is that, are we doing anything with that at the moment, or are we talking about an assistant still, or are we waiting to do the VA description until we decide on an assistant? I think that's where we left.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bivler and I have been talking at length about this. I think I'm definitely leaning towards a part-time person to handle a lot of the administrative stuff here in the office. I think we're going a lot of different directions when it comes to the village administrator job description. This is just one version that I found. I'll just show it to you. You can see it's been edited, re-edited, it's been worked over. And this is only one of them. There's like a half a dozen of them. I think it would be easier to go to the original job description, which included some of the zoning and other things, and then break those out more easily. So that's the way I want to proceed with that. I also have, I know we said it was over, we've completed it, but I do have a copy of the evaluation form if anybody would like a copy of that.
Has it been revised since the last time?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
These batteries.
I'll just go over it real quickly, and then of course, please take your time to review it and get back with me with anything that you might want to know, or any suggestions or anything. So basically, we talked about taking away the numbering system. So if you see the categories up there are needs to improve, has shown improvement, satisfactory performance, and excels consistently are the areas that we can rate. And those are just check marks. And each one of these, job quality, not job knowledge, work quality, productivity initiative, all the way down. And down at the bottom, we would collect all of the check marks in the boxes from the categories. Needs to improve all the way to excel consistently. One of the things I think is important is the comments section of this. Whoever the supervisor is needs to provide some commentary about why the individual rated the way that they did. This is meant to be a positive thing, not a negative thing. Down in the lower right-hand corner, you can see an N, an A, an E, and a P. If you look at the second page, you'll see overall performance. Again, this is associated with the individual needs to improve. The performance is acceptable. They excel, and promotable. Promotable, what that really means is, and we can define each one of those. Promotable means that it's someone who can actually go out and do the work on their own without supervision, takes initiative, and solves problems without having to seek approval or advice from somebody to do it. So overall at that, remember I mentioned to you that I had some concerns about attendance and use of sick leave and things like that. I think a better way to, and I'm open to any suggestions or comments on this whatsoever, because this is kind of an area that I know on one hand we try to monitor the use of leave, and on the other hand, we understand people do have a right to use the leave that they've earned. During the rated period, was the employee's attendance and use of leave appropriate, yes or no? We can document the days that they work, the days that they used leave, and whether or not they worked overtime. And I think those are fair measures for someone as to whether or not they're committed to the job that they're hired for. Again, these are all, I would say that this is still in the works based on any input that you all might have from the rules committee particularly.
When you say days we've used, is that excused, unexcused, all, or?
There aren't any unexcused days. You have to have leave. In the public sector, we have to stay in a paid status. To stay in a paid status, you have to have either approved leave or you have to be on the job working. You have to be off on something like military leave or something along that lines. Sick leave would be approved leave. That would be, you could,
What happens if someone uses other leave and then they call in sick?
That- it's an unexcused absence, and that starts to work against the individual as far as remaining employed.
So would that be documented in here, that, or is that just?
That wouldn't wait till an evaluation. That's something that would be dealt with at the time. And I'd have to go to the employee manual to tell you exactly how that would proceed. But, I would imagine Mr. Faco would be involved in that as well. Understand though, that we have some very benevolent employees here. If someone ends up in a situation where they're out of leave and through no fault of their own, prolonged illness or a family situation, whatever it might be, I know for a fact we have people here that will donate their own time. So there are other things that will carry someone through a situation like that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And this evaluation is used for everybody? all
Yes.
staff?
Yes. Disciplinary action, again, try to keep this positive during rating period. Violations, policy, rules, regulations require disciplinary action described along with remedial action to improve performance. Meaning, okay, you screwed up, you did something, okay? But what happened after that? How did you take the criticism or the corrective action? You know, maybe there's something good to say, maybe there isn't. It's really up to the supervisor. Disciplinary action should be documented otherwise than on the evaluation form. Should have already been done. Goals and target dates. Here we're setting goals for the employee to meet with target dates because it's not really a goal if you don't put a date on it. And here we'll look at past goals that were set and then future goals that we're going to set for the future, obviously. Overall performance needs improvement, acceptable, excels, and promotable. I think we can define those well enough. Acceptable would be you come to work every day, you do your job, you don't take more leave than you need to, or it creates a problem. You do what you're asked to do, you have a good attitude, you don't have a hard time with your fellow employees or anything. Acceptable. Someone who excels. Again, all these are things you know when you see them. We all do. Someone who is excels is somebody that you can trust to work on their own, maybe take charge, maybe direct fellow employees if need be about getting the job done.
One thing that comes to my mind is on a rubric such as this, you could almost assign each one of these a value. So then at the end, you would have a total score. And then, this could be something for the future, but then come up with that score, a scale, and then those values will be assigned to your overall performance ratings.
Yeah, well, that's the previous system that we had. It was a 1 through 5.
Yeah, that's something like that in the Navy, and then like everybody ended up being 4-0.
Right. Yeah, we were.
Well, you would just keep this the same, but you would just give each column a value and then it give you the total number of points essentially at the end.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I was.
So one of the things that, because we talked about this with previous village administrator, and one of the things that was a concern was whether or not each one of these items applies to every employee.
And just looking at it, it looks, I think they do, except the only one I would have maybe some concern with it, and this is my own just ignorance of the totality of the job description for every employee. And that would be, initiative, the degree to which an employee searches out new tasks and expends abilities. Like, for example, the people who work in the water and wastewater are their jobs such as that it's such a routine that they would never need to have the ability to do that.
I think they, more than anybody, need to show initiative in actually coming up with solutions to the problems they
Coming up
clearly
with
have.
solutions.
So that is kind of in their wheelhouse. They need to tell us what they need to make the water better when it arrives at the house.
I guess I read it to mean somebody kind of is right now slow and say, hey, how about if I take on this? And I don't know that they would be, and maybe I'm just reading it incorrectly.
No, I don't think so. Mr. Foreman's got a good point. In both our water plants, wastewater and water treatment, and those operators have taken on some responsibility, quite a bit of responsibility actually, and shown initiative. I know out of wastewater, our folks out there are getting involved with Ohio Rural Water. We've talked with them at the water treatment plant. Both of them through RCAP, both of them have improved the facilities there. And that's really what I look at is like taking initiative. Okay, I've tested all the water. I've done all the reports I need to do. I've done all these other things. What do I do now?
Exactly.
Clean the plant. Make sure that the plant is functioning properly.
Restock supplies.
Yes. Check and make sure that you've got the things that you need.
Don't want water meters that need replaced for you to make time to go do that. You're just always busy, never get new things done.
Right.
We have a lot of deferred maintenance right now in both plants
Yes, sir.
that needs to be addressed, and that's going to take a lot of initiative.
And I do believe there's a lot of good things going on there already. Of course, they just keep finding more. One of the notes that I had for council tonight is to possibly defer the visit to the wastewater plant. They've got a pump that's not working, and did he send out an email to anybody?
No, I just also requesting that if we do it another time.
Okay, all right. It might be better for everybody. So yeah, but as far as the evaluation form, any comments? We're getting close on time. I don't want to. But please mark these up, send them back to me. Call me, email me, do whatever you need to do. That goes for anything and everything, but particularly this. If you think you'd rather have the values, do you think that would serve the?
Like Wade said, everybody ends up with 40.
Ours are 2 5s. Yeah, 25 even.
And it wouldn't change anything other than it just make it easier to add up, and then you would.
Well, like I said, he just puts a check and he's got 3 checks here and 1 check here. At least he's got some that go on down at the bottom.
And with the supervisor's comments too, and then like on the back, like goals, like they set their goals for themselves and if they meet them or that sort of stuff. And then I like it.
I like the part that they set their own goals too.
Okay.
Are we done there for now?
We can't be. That's not.
Okay, moving to old business, we were talking about village alleys. I think there's limited resources on what we can do with alleys. I think that if there's a legitimate, substantial problem, I think the street department would probably take care of it without it having to be a council decision. But I'm more worried about the streets, and some of them are worse than some of the alleys.
Right. And
I think that, I guess I'm just concerned that if there was, I know that you, Rick, has said that the council decided X, Y, Z, but there doesn't seem to be anything more. So, I would just like to see something,
Policy,
a policy, yeah.
We can do that.
bring forth the policy and we'll decide whether that's what we want or whether we make changes. Okay? So we'll leave this on here and await a policy coming forth from the village administrator that we can tweak or adopt. New business, I'm not sure what this resolution is. That's the one that had to do with the use of the park.
Yes.
This, where did we leave it at?
Well, it was brought up at last council meeting.
Oh, yeah.
But no one ever said draft legislation.
Oh, is this me?
Yes.
Okay.
But this is a resolution granting Little Miss Baltimore attendant committee for the use of Johnson Park to have a craft show that benefits the Baltimore Thurston Food Pantry.
My notes show that council was willing to consider this, provided that it followed the same regulations that any other user of the parks did. So I prepared it in draft form, but it can easily be amended, and I anticipate that council will probably want to amend that. So.
And that will be put forth at the council meeting tonight?
If council, yeah, it's on the agenda, and if council wants to, if committee wants to support it, so.
Okay, do we need to make a motion to recommend this to council?
Yes.
Can I get a motion on that?
That, we forward this on it, council.
And I'll second.
Roll call?
Question real quick before I do all that. You're gonna sponsor it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Chavner,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes. Okay, so that's cleared off the agenda now and off the council. Our next meeting will be held on the second Monday in November 13th at 6:30 p.m. We'll immediately follow the finance committee meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Before we do, the visitor need to speak at this meeting or council, or was she going to speak?
I think it's big at council, I guess.
You can do either, really.
Really?
We're, the,
But we'll-
Council will be fine.
Council-
Council at this point
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
6:45 is going to be the
Public hearing.
public hearing. So it's different.
So, well, had a motion to adjourn, but I didn't have a
Oh,
second yet because you said wait a minute. So I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call?
All in favor?
Yes. Rules is adjourned. We have a public meeting at 6:45.
Break. Yes.
You did? I didn't get it yet.
We'd like October 18th at 2.
October 18th at 2, here, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, so back there in the corner. And it's you, me, Brian, and Brian. Oh, or Ron.
Wrong.
Ron has been on the records commission, I'm assuming he's still.
Yes.
Is the VA on the commission?
Oh,
I don't know, formally, I don't believe. I don't know. Sorry, I guess that's one way of shortcutting the procedure, so.
Yeah.
I have not seen that yet. I've been looking for it.
Is the council meeting?
yes.
Yes, it is.
On the right place then.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you guys.
We got a Oh, there's something else going on. Oh, this is not. This is council, but we got a public meeting about fence zoning first. It's 15 minutes and you're welcome to.
No, you're.
I don't think anybody will show up for the fence thing. It's just a matter of.
I'm actually for fence sign too.
Oh, well,
Nice.
I'm glad you could make it.
Don't mind that, sorry.
Instead of two.
Okay. What is it? It's a QR code you can scan so you start getting notifications about the things that.
The second one is for the,
No, there's a second.
yeah, the second one is the, survey for Johnson Park.
So these are both the same?
No. Pass it on, pass it on. It is.
Are these for us to disseminate?
Do whatever you wish. That's the last of them.
So, like if this one, if they scan it out on their phone, they'll start getting notifications
Yes,
about
sir.
business in the village.
Yes, sir.
So if I put this on the front door and tell my customers about it, they can go there and
Yes.
now they'll be on the, like, okay, fantastic.
I like it.
She's doing a great job.
She does everything. She's-
Yes. It's quite a gal.
Did the survey get published? In?
Yes, it's online. I was going to speak a little bit about the results because I could.
Okay. You got some on.
Yeah, about, I think about 79.
79.
Oh, wow.
I looked at it this morning.
Respondents. Like to get more.
Maybe we will before the application.
I was gonna say, is there an update on the grant situation?
We're just all working on it, but due date next month. So,
I did reach out to, Land Bank.
okay.
That was very,
Michael Capel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of his, I was copied on some of his emails.
very encouraging.
See the burnout going?
Yes.
How's that burnout?
Awesome. All right. High Street, High Street, High Street.
The only issue is with the land bank, if I understood him correctly, is that before we know, before we have to submit our application. So my hunch is we can application. General costs in the application, and then if the land bank steps in.
40 years.
If we contact them, so we don't need this extra money right now. So
Kelly's gonna sell the house.
if that's possible.
And she said that she just decided too much.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why they're taking the
Can't be
side
that
and
novel.
the shingles off because there's a company coming in November. Yeah, in November. But in order for them to get new siding and the shingles on, the old stuff has to come off. There's extra money she can take it off. So
Michael, can
that's
you
why you're hearing all the noise out there. Because
And
they're-
mom, did she find?
We'd like to see these grants work
She just
together.
went there.
Yeah.
Her husband and she doesn't feel comfortable.
It just feels kind of bad juju.
Is that the one on Main Street?
It is a lot of sage.
We're gonna call this public meeting to order at 6:46. Roll call, please.
Cosgray,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
Keller is absent, Litz,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Schaffner.
Okay, this public hearing is, I need to approve the agenda. The agenda is to discuss the proposed amendment of planning and zoning code 1272.05 fences. Fences shall be permitted to be constructed on the lot line.
Approved agenda as written.
30 seconds.
Roll call.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Schaffner, Litz.
Yes.
Now you just open up the floor to any visitors.
Absolutely.
Okay, any visitors for the fences? Anybody want to talk? Do we have any visitors for that? All right, we do not have any visitors. Do we have any discussion on the ordinance?
Yes, sir.
None?
Well,
As usual, you probably aren't going to hear anything. Normally,
We need some crickets. Just so we have the background.
so just leave it open for a few minutes.
I do have a question.
Okay.
We need to, clarify about which side those are.
It already does.
Already does.
This is just changing this portion of it.
Okay. Oh, I got you.
It already says pretty soon has to be out, but we don't force it. I have examples, I don't complain.
Okay. Well, we got a motion to adjourn this meeting. Do I need to?
Do we need to allow time or can we just go ahead and close it?
You can close. There's nobody here. You can even mention the time, it's 6:48.
Do I want to, do I have to have a motion to adopt it or whatever?
Oh, nothing at all. It's just for public input. If there's no public input, you can adjourn.
All
Foreman makes a motion, we adjourn at 6:48.
right. Second, please. And roll call.
Man, think we do a roll call? Okay, let's see. Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCrary.
Yes.
Right, being adjourned.
Until 7.
I can only find Phillips Street.
Yeah.
Well, Brady's really nice, it's fine. She brought here the-
I have not approved.
So you want that left off?
Yeah.
Do you want me to turn the 8 back to the off position after the meeting or leave the lights on 24/7?
I'll just hit the button.
Okay, maybe, I don't know.
Just don't go.
I don't have a Rambo survival knife like Brandon does though. Rambo survival
Oh. Well, I don't think Brando would have gotten very far with that. It's not the knife.
This world is a little bit bigger than
knife. I carry one, but it's not a street armor.
Yeah. That has to-
that.
So that, she's gonna follow like that.
No, she's not making.
There's a conference meeting.
Sitting in a meeting.
That's interesting. You say it has.
That's bad mojo.
That one.
Couple on living. And bad mojo if they ever get into that too. They'll be torn down worse than the burnout is.
There we go.
Well, that's a good plan.
I guess I could.
Did you see what they did at 201? They moved the trash cans around to the front of the
I
house.
saw that. Are they To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Cosgray,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
Keller is absent. Litz,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Schaffner.
We have approval of the minutes of our September 11th.
25th.
Oh, okay, 25th meeting.
Foreman makes a motion to approve the minutes as written.
That's second.
Roll call.
Let's see, Foreman,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCreary.
Yes.
Foreman makes a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second,
Second.
and roll call.
Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner, Litz,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCreary.
Yes.
All right, and we do have visitors tonight, and representatives from Neptune and Badger. Who would like to go first? Scott, you want to introduce?
Yeah. So I brought Neptune and Badger here to speak to the council about our meter situation. We currently have about 1,300 meters in our system. About 1,100 of those are Badger meters. The decision was made some time ago to switch from Badger to Neptune. And there wasn't really a clear answer as to why we made that decision, which company offers us the better software. So I wanted to bring them both here so we can make more of an educated decision on which way we want to go. So far we got about 30 or so Badger meters in the system. There's about 30 Neptune meters in the system are about 30. We got about 30 of those at the water treatment plant that we haven't put in. So I wanted to bring each company up here to speak about what their service is, what they have to offer us, so that we can make a better decision as to why we're doing this.
Are all of the meters in the field now radio read?
Yes, they're all radio. Every single one of them, they have to be driven around and picked up with the van for radio technology.
So we have to be within the certain distance of the meter,
Yes, so pick it up with the radio.
50 yards.
Yeah, unless, yeah.
Okay, so you pretty much have to go to every house.
You pretty much got to drive up and down each street
Okay.
to pick up the meter reading.
Even the pit meter?
No, all the pit meters don't. Some of them we have to read those physically.
That's what I'm wondering about. That.
Yeah, I mean, there is something better. It's called the cellular read. It's automatic real-time updates, and I think that would greatly benefit our customers if we were ever able to go that route. It would give us real-time flows to see what people are doing and what the water is doing in our houses. Alert us as to when our residents have leakage, high water usage, things like that. We're currently not there with the radio.
Okay, so both of these offer that?
I'll let them tell you what they offer.
Okay.
All right, let's bring the Neptune guys up.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Nathan Scott with Neptune.
I'm Bryce Sanborn, also in that too.
So I want to let everyone know the reason we are here tonight is not to tell you who's better, whether it's us. I know we're great, whether it's Badger, I'm sure these guys are great too. What we're trying to figure out is where the decision was made or why the change of heart. So a while ago, probably about 2-3 years now, you guys made the decision to start purchasing meters from us and replace the following phasing out Badger meters. You guys have spent a large sum of money with us investing in us in the last 3 or 4 years. We're just kind of confused as to why you want to go back to a place you've already left. Essentially, we've been here. I've met with Scott many times. We come in about once a month, sometimes twice. I knew Joey when he left. I think this decision was maybe made back when Terry Wise was here, if that's a familiar name. Also, I know that Dwayne Moeller was pushing this. He was from Pickerington. He was a Neptune guy, came from Pickerington. He loved our service and he wanted to implement it here. Sorry, I don't know any of you guys. like I said, I don't know if they're recently on or what. But normally we just go out and we see Scott. We offer everything you guys could ever need as far as a fixed base or radio read system. We have an Amazon web-based software that's got leak detections, all that sort. I'm sure Scott can explain to you a little bit better as far as what you guys are needing. I am going to understand you guys do want to get fixed base possibly eventually and get to the point where you're just getting reads from the office. We offer all these things. I know another point that Scott relayed to me was you don't want to be paying for two softwares at the same time, because right now you're using, I think it's called Beacon software, and ours is the Neptune 360 software. So once you got a certain amount of Neptune 360 meters, you would need to switch to our software. Well, I'm here to tell you there will be no double dipping. You guys can continue with the Badger Beacon and pay for it. And as long as you're still continuing to buy Neptune meters, our software will be free to you until all the Badger meters are replaced. And then you can hop on our software. So we don't want you guys to double dip anyways. So it's our products are made to be integrated at a slow and fast pace. So everything can be integrated, essentially not immediately. It's not like you need some large grant to spend all at one time. You can do this, you can implement slowly. Like Scott alluded to, you guys have about 25, 30 plus meters in the ground already. And you have an order at the warehouse, right? At the plant right now, about 25 or 30 more. I'm told that those are possibly in conversation, maybe going back to us. So that's what we're here about, just to find out why maybe the change of heart, to go back to someplace you guys have already left. And because in our eyes, you guys have already made the decision to come to us. That's why you've spent like north of 30 grand in the past 2-3 years transitioning to us. So we'd hate to see you guys come back and it kind of be a waste of money at this point. So.
Okay, and the Neptune meters that we have in place now, and Scott may know more about this than you guys, are they on residences or on residents, or are they on like the schools and businesses, or are they on the plant itself?
There's multiple. Yeah. So we essentially sold, before Scott was here, we sold you guys multiple compound meters, larger 1 inches, 2 inches, and there's a place all around the town. I know one was even labeled ice cream shop or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So those were implemented before Scott was here. And now since Scott's been here, I think you've maybe put in 25 or 30 in residential ones.
Yeah.
And those are all radio reads as well. And you guys do have our belt clip transceiver as well, which you recently purchased in the last 6 months or so. That's the reading device that you have in the truck, and you guys just drive around, and you got to be, within 100, 200, 300 feet of it. And it picks it up. So you guys invested quite a bit in us, and you're currently reading our meters flawlessly with the Ingo app for free, which will remain. So yeah. Questions on?
So most of the new builds, or most of the new meters, Neptune meters are in new builds. We haven't done any change out of Badgers to Neptune.
Yeah, we have a stock of new builds at meters for new builds at the water.
And they're Neptunes.
Neptune.
And so do the schools have Neptunes or Badgers?
The high school has Neptune.
Okay.
And I don't know. Okay. I know the high school, Dollar General, Sharpeners. Okay. Yeah, Neptune.
Okay.
Do we have any questions for the gentleman?
Like I said, I'm Nathan. This is Bryce, and I'm actually decently close to here. Bryce is 15 minutes away. So I think Scott can tell you as far as service goes, we're world class. I mean, Scott gives me a call, he needs something to wear the next day, and that's how we operate. So thank you guys.
We thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Judge Badger Jones.
Hello, good evening. First, my name is Rob Barber. I'm the product specialist for Buckeye State Pipe. Tony also is employed with Buckeye State Pipe. We are the distributor for Badger meters. So we're in Chillicothe, Ohio. We stock all meter product right there. And first, I want to just thank you for giving us this opportunity to explain our solution. You have a big decision to make. If you're moving from from an AMR, automated meter reading system, to possibly an AMI system. The solution that we offer, the AMI solution that we offer, is a cellular-based solution. And in these little packets that I put together, there's 4 sheets. The first sheet is the meter data management, which you've already bought and paid for. It's in place right now. That's where the interface has been done with your billing vendor, and it's already communicating. There's a lot of work to be done to orchestrate a meter reading and billing system. So you've already got that part done with Badger. The second sheet is the endpoint. And the endpoint is a cellular-based endpoint which gathers meter data and transmits it to an existing cellular tower, which then hosts it and delivers it to your beacon portfolio, which you already have in place. The meter is the third sheet, and that's a meter that we would propose if you guys are planning on switching out your meters. We would like you to consider moving forward with the new ultrasonic technology. And then the fourth page is an ultrasonic meter that has the automatic shut-off valve. So those for delinquent customers or customers that may be moving out of into Florida for the winter, you can shut their water off with the Beacon portfolio. Back when Beacon was installed here, I was just learning. I'm actually the certified trainer for Beacon. So when a client moves to our software, I'm the guy that comes in and trains the clerk how to do the import and the export file. We train the staff how to install the meters properly. And so I'm that guy. The salesman would be the one to handle day-to-day business. I'm the staff tech. So the point that I was trying to make here is that you've already got a portion of an AMI system already in place right now, and that's the Beacon software. So the Beacon software is like a strip mall, and it hosts tenants, and our tenants are the endpoints and meters. So you could keep installing meters, the AMI system, and it will already perform with the Beacon portfolio. So with our competitors, you have to build a network, and that takes time and money and effort, where our system already uses the network in place. You start installing, you can install a cellular endpoint today and have data tomorrow in Beacon. It's that quick. So it's unfortunate that I don't think that you were given the attention that you deserve when you launched Beacon. I think maybe prior people just didn't realize how robust Beacon is. So we'd appreciate the opportunity to help you move forward and help you make an educated decision on which way to go. So between Neptune and Badger and all the other manufacturers out there, we all manufacture a product that has to meet an AWWA standard. So these guys or the other guys, they're not any better or any worse than us. We all have to meet a certain standard. So set forth by American Water Works. So we really appreciate your time. I'm a little nervous. I don't know. You gotta excuse me. So we appreciate your time tonight and giving us this opportunity to explain our solution.
I think I was. I don't remember a whole lot about it. Me and Chuck have been the only ones who would have been here. Yeah.
I remember sitting in the train with Missy.
Missy runs the water department,
Okay.
billing. And
The only reason I remember that is my wife's name is Missy. And I remember sitting in the train with her. At that point, I was not a certified trainer. I was just learning at that point. But now I'm well-versed and I'm local, so.
Does anybody else have any questions for the gentleman?
I was curious if Neptune has that remote shut-off capacity.
Yes.
Okay, so any of these meters, like we're doing residential meters, especially on apartments or living units,
Mhm.
we can be putting in these remote shut-off units and not have to go do the crazy thing.
Exactly. What we've seen with the clients across Ohio is that the shut off is really the utility is really interested in those for the apartment complexes or the where there's two residents in one home. It gives the utility a lot of control and the landlord, because usually the user's agreement is in the landlord's name, not the tenant's name. So I don't know how you guys
Some
do
of
it.
each.
Right, but it makes it easy and in our meter valve, you gotta understand too, it doesn't totally bubble tight shut off. There's a restricted flow and then there's a shut off flow. But the shut off flow will only restrict the flow for humane purposes. Say somebody's on kidney dialysis or something and they need water. You will be allowed to get, it'll take 10 minutes to get, a half a cup of water, but they'll be able to get a drink of water. And then the restricted flow and then the shut off, the restricted flow is basically a flow that you couldn't take a shower or do laundry, but it will alert. I'm sorry, the shut off flow wouldn't let you do that, but the restricted flow will basically kind of reduce the pressure so much to where it just annoys the user. It kind of reminds them that they better get in to pay their bill. So, but anyway, if the network is the big thing, you don't have to build a network with ours. So you're going to use the existing cellular towers, and we do a study to make sure before we put the first endpoint in place, we will do a study that's free that will say whether or not what Verizon or AT&T, whatever cellular provider would be the best one to go with. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Alrighty, I think that we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. And I think we're going to leave it in our staff's hands
Very
as to
good.
what they want to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
That's why I was asked, when was this initiated?
Scott's gonna stick around for a minute. If you have any questions.
Thank you. They're wanting to know why.
Yeah, when was this initiated?
He wasn't here.
I wasn't here when they first
Oh, but-
started.
I'd be interested in Missy's take on it, because she was obviously.
I wasn't here when they first made the decision to go away from Badger to go to Neptune. But when I got here, I just seen the amount of Badgers that we have versus the amount of Neptunes that we have, and the cost it's going to take us to get from Badger to Neptune versus getting from Badger to something that we have cellular or remote control over. And that was my big thing. I just didn't know why we would do that. If they both offer the same thing, if we're just going to make a lateral movement one way, it's just a lot of money to do that. You know?
We haven't talked about this, but do you have any kind of a cost evaluation of how much the whole changeover would be, and then how much it would be to?
What do you think that is, Brian? There's 300 meters, 1,300 of them, $314 a meter to go to Neptune. I mean,
Yeah, we still got to replace I don't know how many we have to replace.
Some of them $500.
Yeah, that's why we budget X amount of dollars each year for meter upgrade. But to answer your question, I was here back then. This was, I think there was the one guy from Badger, there was a lack of communication, and it got to the point where we weren't getting any information from him about what to proceed on. And that's when Terry made the call and Dwayne to go to Neptune. And Dwayne was familiar with it. You hit the nail on the head on that one. I don't care which way they go. I just know that it's going to cost a lot of money between now to fully upgrade the Neptune.
What if we stay with Badger? What's the cost?
We only got about 150 bad meters that need to be replaced for us to have a fully operational radio read system.
No, he was talking when he was here that one day. This is the cellular thing.
Yes.
That's going to be the wave of the future. I mean, right now the radio reads is what we do right now, right?
When you replace the new ones, will they be the upgrade ones?
That just depends on how much money you just want to spend.
Okay.
I would prefer to replace them with cellular reads. That'll be the way of the future. Why not get the ball rolling on what we got broken now, replace that with what's new in the industry.
I think back then, I think the initial.
Should we replace problem customers' meters right away?
Exactly. Yeah. We were in the process of replacing our problem customers with Neptune, and I put a stop to it because I just didn't know why we were doing it.
If I also recall from 4 or 5 years ago when we did this, they were talking about this satellite thing. It was going to cost to put something on. It was
It was gonna go up on the tank.
yeah, on a tank, and it was going to cost like in excess of 100,000. We didn't have the money.
Wasn't gonna use a cellular.
No.
Use a special.
But
It was going to.
But again, the lack of communication when the Badger representative was here, we could pay, that was a 10-year cost, so your rates didn't change. So the cellular part there now is it's so much per meter, and it calculates out to about $10,000 to $15,000 a year, which we can manage that by budgeting that if we want to continue on with that. But or we can pay for the 10-year. And hope that the rates don't go up. Or
I would suggest this goes to committee.
Yeah.
Because there's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
There's, everybody's talking about a cost analysis. Nobody's done one. It sounds.
Well, we
like
work on
so.
that.
So I would recommend sending it to committee. Service would be ideal. Committee to review all of this information, to look at a cost analysis and figure out what do we want to do? What do we recommend?
Okay, I'll get that for you.
That's what we're gonna do. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Anything else?
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you, Scott. See you tomorrow.
See you.
Okay. Miss Barb Holland, can you give us a speech?
I'm gonna give you a speech. What do you want to speak about? Hi, I'm Barb Holland. How are you? Okay, so my granddaughter, Rory Gaskell, is on the Little Miss Baltimore porch. And one of their responsibilities is to work with the charity. So we've decided that on November 18th, we're going to do mini photo sessions. We have a Santa, a Mrs. Claus, backdrops, photographers, all that have volunteered their time. And that we are going to do these little mini photo sessions, and all the money that we make on these photo sessions will go straight to the food bank. So as I was doing the math, it looks like if we have a full schedule, we should get around $650 to give to food bank. So, and I was thinking, because Darla knows me, I can't ever do anything just small. I thought, well, we have a lot of real estate around the shelter houses, so maybe we should do some bedrooms. So at that point, I got a hold of Missy. Missy got me in touch with Brian, and then here I am. So basically what we would do is in the papers that I would put out for people to sign or what have you, they would have to bring their own tents, pop-up tent, their own tables, their own chairs. There wouldn't be any kind of vehicles or anything on the grass or anything like that. We may have a mini team, so I need to get
approval of that, we would clean up after it. But that's for the photos, okay? But anyway, so just after working with Brian, he said I had to bring it to the council. And so the only problem that I have here is that if we're going to do the vendors with your approval, I kind of have to do it now because I'm running out of time to get the vendors and things like that. Yeah, but anyway, all proceeds, we charge $25 per spot for the vendors. So depending on how many vendors we have, and then that, it's just all going to the Baltimore Food Bank.
So if I can interject, not to interrupt you, but for council's benefit, because I drafted a resolution for council to review this evening at this meeting. And I was asked to draft that, modeling it after other special events. And one of the more common ones is the Baltimore Festival.
Okay.
So that's what I did. The majority of the items in this draft resolution are also from the resolution for the Baltimore Festival. So there's a mandatory requirement of liability, general liability insurance coverage. Some council person made a reference to that at the last meeting saying, look, that should be in there. So, and some of the other aspects of it would be that it defines that Johnson Park can be used, Johnson Park shelter can be used, a deposit of $50 is required. It sets forth the setup time, the event hours, the cleanup time, and similar to the other resolutions that have been entertained by council, it obligates this committee to provide auxiliary police department assistance. So that may or may not be necessary, but I left that language in there. And it also obligates the committee to be responsible for maintaining and cleaning the restrooms at the shelter house, for making certain that everything is cleaned up afterwards and all of the booths are removed. And that's about it, at no cost to the village. So those are the major points that are in that resolution. So,
explain the insurance, the liability insurance.
well, whenever there's a special event like that, the village typically requires that whoever's overseeing this event, I call it a committee. I didn't see on the paperwork that it's referred to as a committee, but I gave it a committee name. So, and I think I call it the Little Miss Baltimore First Attendant Committee. So what the village has typically done is required any event planner to show proof that they have a general liability insurance policy, so that if somebody's injured on the grounds, that policy will kick in and pay for those injuries, and the village would not be obligated financially for
Completely understandable.
somebody to be.
And that's why I was working with Brian to begin with. So we can just withdraw the vendor thing then, because that's kind of a lot. We're just trying to get more money for what we're already doing. We're already doing many photo shoots, so.
But that would be included with the photo shoots and everything. We need to make sure that the town is not liable.
Yeah, exactly. That's typically what the village has done in the past for special events like that. So now, an argument can be made, okay, well, we're dealing with a smaller event than a multi-day Baltimore Festival, obviously, with and probably with fewer people, but that I kept as much language in this draft as I could from the resolution that's been adopted over the years for the Baltimore Festival. So,
well, if this just became a shelter house rental, are we monitoring what people do when they just rent a shelter house?
Not that I'm aware of.
So
Brian
this
probably.
photo shoot could be held in a shelter house rental, and no one at this table would know that.
Right. That's true. So we don't require.
Any of that for a shelter
Like
house.
if there's a reunion there, we don't require them.
Not that you can ask Brian Holbrook, but not that I'm aware of.
I was just sitting here wondering, like, not to try to push anybody, is this something that Baltimore BDRC has a place already, would they maybe partner with them to allow them to do that? Because you guys already have all that stuff, right?
I mean, December 2nd.
Is that what happened?
No, this is November.
Mine's November 18th.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like you, it's just an idea. You guys do this regularly, so the obstacles for her are something you guys already have in place.
Mhm.
And I just throwing out there that there might be an opportunity for a partnership where you get a little bit of revenue from BDRC and help them accomplish their.
Possible.
Question of, this is a festival thing, kinda. Do they have insurance that
Yeah.
would cover?
Oh, the Baltimore Festival.
Yeah, the Baltimore Festival thing.
Only for their.
Only for there, man.
I think they just get policy for that.
They do. And I was gonna
Got it.
mention that I think there are some insurance agencies in town that you might want to check with who do write those types of policies.
Baker. Selfish.
I was gonna mention.
Right, the last time I looked at a policy, something like that, it was about $50, and that's, that's two of our vendor spots right there, so it really would just, because I don't know how many vendors I will get at this point anyway. So maybe this is something we could think of for next year, and I'll just rent the shelter house, and you guys don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't think it would be an issue to work with us, but you already have a date in mind that you've kind of established. We have an event on December 2nd at Johnson also, that it's the BDRC, which is the Baltimore Downtown Restoration.
Oh, okay.
So we do have an event scheduled for December 2nd.
With vendors.
And we already have, I think we have 25, 30 vendors. But yeah, so if something doesn't work out, I don't know, you probably maybe work something out for the pictures, what have you.
Okay, so for the pictures, I can or cannot do these inside of the
I
shelter
have a
house.
question about that. So you've mentioned this mini voting. So,
We cannot have that one if that's a problem.
well, that's what I was gonna ask. That would be outside, right?
Yes, yes.
No harm in clarifying.
Yeah, we
We're doing the same
We
thing,
just
so.
all bring the mini pony, and that's I have to do finding a sleigh or cart or whatever anyway, so. So right now, I'm just, people are coming in and getting their picture taken.
Well, yeah, if they're just going to do photo shoots and without the mini voting and, inside, then we're back to what Rick said is that we don't really ask anybody.
They pick up the key the day before, they pay the fee, they go on there, do whatever they do.
Can you maybe do, would you want to, I mean, I'm speaking for you now, this is probably not a great thing to do, but, would you maybe want to consider both, like doing the photo shoot in November and then trying to do something a little bit?
And it would not be with me directly. We have a market master that kind of takes care of that.
Okay. So maybe next year, this is all pretty new. I mean, you didn't, the crowning, of course, wasn't even till August, so it wasn't like they had a lot of time. And then we were told, these are the things you should do while you're wearing your crown. So,
I love the ideas. I think it's a great idea. I think a great place to start is with the photo booths kind of thing.
your kids, grandkids, get a little
Yeah.
advertisement in there. So $25.
I appreciate it.
Let me give you this. I'll make you this offer. If you check into it, it's like $50 or $100 for your insurance, the police department members.
Oh, you're so sweet. I think so. I'm gonna keep this if you don't mind. But I think we'll just let that, especially since you're coming in a couple weeks later and doing the same sort of thing over at the same place. I think we'll just
It'd be just as popular, I mean,
Right,
because
right.
tis the season.
right. So we'll just kind of put our vendors on hold, and then maybe next year we'll see what happens.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You can come by tomorrow or anytime and sign off on your.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, we have the village administration reports, and I did manage a report this time. You guys haven't read it, I'll read it. We did have a really good staff meeting on Thursday the 5th at 9 o'clock. All staff were in attendance and a lot of good information was shared. This is personal. I believe we have great people in place and I'm grateful for them. We have put off the tour to the wastewater treatment plant, and that will be determined later. Tree commission, we're not having this on Thursday, you said? Tree commission at 5:30 and planning and zoning at 7.
Tree commission will still meet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
They always meet.
Just so you guys always, most of the time. I do have a nuisance abatement that you guys are welcome to. It's going to be held here in the council room at 6 p.m. on October 16th. And this will be to discuss the code violations. Can I zoom in?
It's a public meeting. If Brian Bibler is able to set that up.
You don't have to. I know I won't be ready to.
No, I mean, yeah, I showed Brian how to open up that meeting and so forth.
2 words, good luck.
Yeah, because I have to.
Count on IT.
Yes, not a good thing. I'll do the best I can. Brian usually sets it up and then.
Tracy Thompson's going to be here with the Bureau of Workers' Comp on the 26th at 10 a.m. And he supposedly has possible monies for us. We'll see. Trick or treat is in Baltimore the 31st from 5 to 7, and I said to be careful with the little ones. Records Commission, we've decided that's going to be October 18th at 2 p.m. here. And Mr. Fix, we have decided on a date for him, which is October 30th upstairs. What did I say, 7:30? And that's supposed to be council and zoning. And because it's public, we don't know if anybody else will be attending, so.
And the purpose of that would be that.
He wants to discuss with us our thoughts on where our village is going and what he wants us to develop. What our ideas are on developing the town.
And probably that would tie in, I'm assuming, with the county's land use plan.
Yeah. He's gonna have about 6 or 7 people here, so show up, people, don't leave me by myself.
And do we know a date and time for that then?
That's October 30th,
Sorry.
upstairs
So that on
at 7:30.
Should we put out a notice?
Yeah,
It's a public meeting, you have to.
yeah, well,
Yes.
yeah.
That requires how long? I always get that confused. How many days in advance on that one?
24 hours.
Class 24 hours. I'll get it out before that.
Absolutely, you could.
Oh, yeah, on the website, that kind of stuff.
Get the word out. But killing
Yeah, I should have put all of this on the.
Website, Kelly,
even got trustees for the
all the way. Yeah, that's the other 7.
Okay. Next thing is the VA's reports.
Y'all have a report, came with the packet. Any questions? No, they want to send around some additional information. I'm sorry, Mayor, some of it's same, some of the same stuff you just
Oh,
covered.
sorry.
No, it's like, it's okay. These things are going around in our heads, and so we're keeping along the same lines. Some of this will be service, some of it will be safety. But I want to review wastewater operator Teague. He's got data from the flow meters. He's worked with Little 48 to evaluate that. We have 4 meters. We've been moved to new locations. He's going to continue to work with them. The wastewater plant walkthrough we've already talked about it. Be delayed probably a week, maybe 2, depending on how everybody's schedule works out. Johnson Park survey is online. We're starting to see some results there. I mentioned the QR codes that Kelly Savage has put together for us. She's doing a great job on that for both the survey and for the informational text messages that go out. Smoke test violations letters. We're going to be mailed today, but we know that there was no mail service today. So that will be mailed out tomorrow. Basically, it's the information to the residents about the violations at their homes and that they need to do something about it. I would like to mention that I've done some review and some research on sewer use ordinances, and I would probably like to make a recommendation in the future to someone to bring before committee about some penalties. Because I don't think we have very any significant penalties for continuing to violate that part of the ordinance. But I'll work on that. Nuisance abatement, the mayor's already mentioned. Roman Romulus, four-way stop. This will probably go to safety, but it's something the street supervisor brought to me. Seems like a good idea with the apartments going in down, just down from there. And that would be a four-way stop. I'll give you a chance to kind of review that. Down number 8, Mill Street, again, probably the safety, but west side of the street, no parking for the southbound. Yeah, for southbound vehicles. It's not a very wide street, as many of you already know. And talking with some of the residents up there, I haven't talked to everybody, but the ones I did talk to, they're no problem. You know, they park off the street anyway. Have no problems with that. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Do you want to provide Council Brian with a brief update on the
Sure.
under the ongoing efforts to apply for a grant for Elmwood property?
Yes, sir. And chime in anytime because I know you're sure knee deep in it. Obviously, we're sending information. We're trying to get as many bids or quotes, I should say, on the project. Some of the things that we've considered, I wish I didn't know Mr. Keller wasn't going to be able to be here, but we've looked at different designs and we talked about combining a bathroom facility with a
Shelter house.
pavilion shelter house. It'd be an open facility. It would be like the shelter house that's there. Quotes are coming in from different places. All of that information is being sent to Hicks Partners, and they're putting the information together for the actual application for the grant. They're very helpful in keeping us on a timeline and trying to keep up with it. But there's just a lot of information to get together. Things from like, are there any endangered species in the area? And all these are all reports, water tables. These are all things that have to be done. So it takes a considerable amount of time. So we're trying to do as much of it.
And the survey that's been published, what are you seeing as far as the results?
Restrooms, bathrooms is one of the top 3. Walking path is another. And I'm trying to remember, is the third one the playground?
Playground or is it pickle court?
No, that's way down on the
Oh,
pickleball.
okay.
Yeah, that's,
I didn't see that as an option.
come on.
it was
In the draft, but somebody must have.
there were notes on some of the entries. There are only a few of them. For all you pickleballers, I have at it, but I don't think you're going to see it in Johnson Park. Maybe you will. I don't know. But I sent out a link, I think, to everybody tonight for the survey. I may have missed you.
On the survey results?
Right, you go to you. I will I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, I have not seen that.
I will see that too.
So,
There's been
Yeah,
about
79 report or responses. 666 people have looked at it.
Yeah,
There's at
but
least
they're not
70.
responding. They must like what they see. But if you scroll down, you'll see the 3 highest ones.
Oops. That's what they recommend.
and just to remind council, this is a matching grant. So if ODNR, who oversees the grant review process and award process and that sort of thing, if they were to approve the village's application, it would be for the purchase price, which is $120,000, for the demolition expense, for the house, and for the proposed development, whether it's a restrooms with a pavilion, that sort of thing. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. If the grant application is awarded, then the village would be responsible for the other 50%, it's a 50% matching grant. So whatever additional cost there is, that's going to be up to the village to fund that, pay for that. So.
Number 1 looks like, I can read this. Number 1 is children's play equipment.
This parking is another one.
2 is walking paths. I didn't say 3.
I think you're looking at, are you looking at this one?
3 is bathrooms.
Okay.
No, I'm
Okay.
looking at the top 3.
Percentages is what.
They've got a couple of different graphs on there.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
Or the top 4.
The 4th one is additional parking.
So
The 5th one would be down here.
those top 4 are pretty close, if I remember right.
Yeah, they are.
That's good. I'd like to have 2 meetings, public meetings. I was kicking around some dates. I want to check with you on. Sure. Are Saturdays okay?
Oh, I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. I think Saturdays might be good, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning or something.
Okay. You can do it at 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I'm up early. So if you're bringing donuts and coffee,
No.
You good to go?
I will. Yeah.
All right. Next,
I gotta sleep in one.
our fiscal officer.
Take one, pass it down.
We killed a tree.
Well, I just thought of this. We have an ordinance tonight, to allocate money to the sewer improvement fund. I got a snapshot from Missy, on Graves' monthly bill. They have, we charge them water and a sewer, and then that additional charge is what, Rick, I think you want to allocate. So 60% of that number is $7,200 a month. That's what it works out to be. I didn't realize that they had a sewer charge, and from what I understand, I asked Missy about this. They pay that $1,297.80 a flat rate, and that's been that way since January of 15. I think 2 VAs ago worked that deal out, and I don't know if council was aware of that one. I'm not sure, but so
Is that because they use a high amount of water?
Yeah,
Only amount of toilets?
yeah, I believe so.
Other than the production side of it?
Yes. But that 12,080 is what is the excess charge per the MOU that we charge them every month.
Would that been consistent over the month?
That's the same amount. I think it fluctuated, increased one time. I got a snapshot of the bill they're paying for the whole year, and it's the same amount except for one time. So I just wanted, you asked me to look into this, and that's what's going to work out to be roughly $7,200 every month going into the sewer improvement fund.
And all of this $12,000 is additional revenue since we began processing for their
Yes.
production?
Yes.
And we'll even take 60% of that to put to sewer plant improvement.
That's what the ordinance says.
If we took all of it, or 90% of it, wouldn't we be right back where you were before we charged for that?
Yes, when the sewer fund was hurting back then. So this is hurting cash wise. Until we signed this agreement with them. And now
Because of the membranes or because of
because of
operation?
the operation, we've taken on their operation. This has been telling you the truth, an influx of money for the village in the sewer area. Which, because we do take a lot of, from what I understand. I don't know much about sewer. I just know that they discharge a lot of things and it has some added costs. Huh? Yeah. So,
Which means we need a lot more improvements to.
Right.
I-
Are you thinking more than the 60%? I think it was just a shot in the dark to try to.
And start this
conversation.
conversation.
Yes.
huh?
That's paid how often?
Every month. That's a monthly charge. That's the memorandum that expired last year that needs to be updated or renewed.
So the 60% would generate almost $87,000.
Yeah,
Want that to 75%. Did you do that figure on? That's cutting that? edge? 'Cause I think that's why we wanted that.
yeah. I mean, we still got to operate the plant, and chemicals and stuff that they use increase every year. So
More comfortable with the
I'm
60%.
more comfortable with 60% than I am.
What did membrane cost?
380,000.
We have paper mill flow if you want to see it. It's pretty consistent.
Any questions more for Brian? And Mr. Solicitor.
Two new pieces of legislation on the agenda for first reading. One is the topic we just discussed, council just discussed, which is the ordinance authorizing allocation of sewer charge funds. I did include emergency language in discussing it with Brian Bibler, because it's going to generate no funds in a quicker fashion if council does decide to move forward with it and approve it. The second piece of legislation on for first reading is the resolution that the listener was here to discuss. Hopefully, my summary of that resolution didn't scare her off. I would hope not anyway, but personally, I don't think that a $50 fee for a general liability insurance policy is by any means cost prohibitive or expensive. And if they're planning on lots of vendors, kind of reinforces the need to have some policy in place on general liability insurance coverage, on cleanup, on everything that's mentioned here. So, but I mean, if that scares her off, I hate to see that, but I still think it's a good idea to have a policy.
Yeah, I think
we were working on too short of a timeline.
Yeah.
It's more a problem than anything else.
and going from a small, we're gonna take some photos with some volunteer photographers to we're going to try to do a market
Yeah,
with
that's
25 to 30 vendors.
big leap.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's
And maybe she has experience with that, but if not, that's a lot, especially to get those vendors organized and ready by.
I had a lot of
November
people
18th.
suggesting that she partner with people who have done it before,
Oh, and it's
but
only
then
2
they're so
weeks later.
close. That
Yeah.
It's only 2 weeks
I was
later.
thinking she might say, well, is there room for us at yours or
Right,
something like that, but
Right.
I didn't want to push people in a particular direction.
What do we do with this?
You have a couple of options. Council can let it ride to the next council meeting, and who knows, maybe she'll change her mind and rethink it and come back and say, I want to do this.
So do we leave it on for a reading and then we'll kill it after?
Yeah.
If she doesn't come back, we'll just kill
Yeah, somebody can make a motion to adopt it and then
it. Not in a second.
not get a second and then dies. So the lack of a second. So,
Do that tonight.
Well, I wouldn't recommend doing it tonight because you never know. She may rethink this.
You might find that insurance is not bad, talk to people she's working with, be back next week.
Yeah, and have some organizers who are willing to help her out and say, well, let's do this. This is a good idea. This is doable.
And
So
we'll leave it on tonight.
Someone offered to pay for the insurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, which is nice.
that was very nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
I've bought that before for things I've been involved in, and it's really nice.
And then Brian Holbrook gave an update already on the Elmwood Drive property and the ongoing efforts to get a grant application filed. And that's all
Perfect. Thank you. All right, council committee reports, finance, please.
Finance met this evening. And our next meeting will be the
13th.
13th at 6. Yeah,
Perfect. Service committee, please.
service did not meet this evening, and our next meeting will be again on the, what's that, the 13th?
No,
27.
23rd.
23rd, yeah. At 6. The third Monday, sorry.
And safety committee, please.
Yes, we did not meet this evening there. We will be meeting the same night as service on the 23rd, and then it will follow the service committee meeting.
Perfect. And the rules committee.
Yes, Mayor, the rules committee met tonight. I believe everyone was in attendance. Here for that, and our next meeting will be November the 13th.
Perfect. Public safety reports, police department.
Thanks, Mayor. Our newest officer's been in training. It's going really well. Of course, he does have quite a bit of experience, so pretty much it's familiarization with the area. He's been touring the schools and businesses, so he's familiar with those. We are currently completing the CRT, critical response training that's mandated by the state of Ohio. We have to do a minimum of 24 online hour courses. And we're about maybe halfway through that. We have till 1st of December to complete it. Officer Molina just got back from 40 hours of radar LiDAR training at the Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy, and that will enable her to do speed enforcement in the school zone and other areas. It's been very busy lately. Just a couple things highlighted. We had a traffic stop with a suspicious vehicle and recovered 10 grams of fentanyl that was purchased in Columbus and was coming through here on the way to Perry County. And just a sidebar to that, what's happened is, I think I've mentioned this before, so all of the interdiction units are running 33, they're running 70. So 256 has become like a real big corridor for drug trafficking right now. So we're trying to give that some attention. The other was officers responded to a report of a theft in progress. It was up here on North Main. When they got in the area, they got a description. One of the officers began to circulate the area. I found a person met the description, interviewed him. During the course of the interview, he confessed that he and 2 others had committed these thefts. There were multiple thefts. He then was kind enough to give us an address in Hebron where one of the other suspects lived. They arrived up there, got permission to search, and we recovered 100% of the property and returned it to the owner. So we were pretty happy about that. We're still working that case though, because it's also out of Perry County, also out of Lincoln County. Looks like it's a big ring altogether. Car 6 will be going in for an electrical issue on the 18th. We've been fighting this thing ever since we had this car. You drive down a road and all of a sudden one of the headlights will turn on for no reason, and then it will turn off for no reason. We've had it 2 different places. Nobody can sort it out. We called Ford. They seem to think they may know what's wrong with it, so it's got to be fixed, and it'll be down for probably
4 to 5 days while they tear the electrical system out. And that's all I have.
All right, appreciate you. Boswell Joint Fire District.
Yeah, Fiber met on 21st last month. They swore in 2 new officers and promoted a lieutenant. So that was nice. And board agreed to put a levy on next spring, 4.5 mil additional to finance the department into the future. And then the next meeting is going to be at 6/11 on the 19th at 6 p.m.
All right. Village committees and commissions, planning and zoning, apparently they canceled this Thursday's meeting. Tree commission will be at 5:30 on this Thursday, if anyone wants to attend. And the records commission will be October 18th at 2 p.m. Any questions on any of that? No. Great. We're going to have first reading, Mr. Foreman.
Yes, this is a ordinance allocating 60% of the sewer treatment charges from Bragg to be put into a fund for sewer plant improvements. And we're not really spending any money here, we're just creating a new bucket and funding that bucket. So I would make a motion that we bypass 3 readings and pass this by emergency.
Schaffner, second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCreary.
Yes.
Foreman makes a motion to adopt.
Second.
Schaffner, second.
Roll call.
Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCreary.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. All right, we have a resolution 2023-24. Schaffner is the sponsor.
Yes, this is a resolution, granting a special use agreement for and then they wanted to have a craft show, in Johnson Park, to raise some funds for the food pantry.
Perfect. That will
Stay on for a second.
stay on for second reading. All right, our second readings. Ordinance 2023-21 is sponsored by Ms. McCreary.
Yes, Mayor, this particular ordinance has been discussed for actually a rather extended period of time. So we are bringing this forward as a second reading on this particular, it's an ordinance dealing with the fences, and we would like to switch the wording as such that the fences will be moved directly onto the line, the property line.
Perfect. All right, we've moved into our third reading. And resolution 2023-22 is a Mr. Foreman sponsor.
Yes, Mayor, this is resolution authorizes the village administrator to participate in OPWC. It's kind of a housekeeping resolution, and this should just stay on for third reading.
And our third reading tonight is resolution 2023-20, and that's Ms. McCreary.
Yes, Mayor, this particular ordinance is regarding the VOB's event, which is scheduled to be held December 2nd at Johnson Park, and utilizing your shelter house that day, I believe, 1 to 5. So I would like to ask that you move this, adopt this particular ordinance.
Foreman second.
Roll call.
McCreary,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Tabled ordinances. Any old business? Any new business?
I'd like to just point out a couple of quick things from the BDRC. Since we talked about, there is going to be a meeting October 30th at 7:30, which will be held upstairs in the Opera House. So that will be a public hearing, public meeting, I should say, actually. And people are invited to attend. It will begin at 7:30, and Commissioner Dick will be there. Hicks will be there with some other visitors as well. And also the following day on October 31st, trick or treat. So the BDRC will also be hosting upstairs 5 to 7 will be passing out treats. And that is all.
Perfect. Anyone else? Do not have any visitors. All right, our next meeting will be held on the fourth Monday, October 23rd. This is our long. Oh, yeah. No,
That's right.
Okay, for makes a motion to adjourn.
3 seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Brian Bedler, do you have that original, legislation, the last piece of it?
Is that on service committee?
It's
We'll meet with Mike Crane tomorrow. Mike Crane from B3 about our street project 24.
Oh, yeah.